Good evening, all. Am I audible? Yes, good evening, good evening. Am I audible? Yes. I'm sharing my screen. Please let me know if it is visible. Is my screen visible? Yes. Okay. So can we start? So or we should wait for one more minute. It's 7:32 already. Okay. So once again, good evening, and we will start with the recap. So can anyone tell me the bullet points, what we discussed yesterday? Bullet points, please. Okay. So in that sequence, we started with why improvement is required. Correct? Yes. Why is improvement required? Then we discussed, yes, prior to that, we discussed four golden voices of the management. What are those golden voices? VOC, VOB, VOP, and VOE. So these are four golden voices, and that can be used as a trigger for the improvement. So first we saw why is improvement required, then four golden voices of the management, and what is the purpose of any business. Yes, you will be correct. What is the purpose? 3M or 4M, make more money or make more and more money, right? After that, what we discussed, changing scenario. Yes, market is changing. Earlier it was a buyer's market. No, seller's market. Now this market is changed from seller's market to buyer's market. So earlier there was a monopoly of the manufacturers, and now this market is changed from that manufacturer's market to the customer's market. And hence it is a very tough for manufacturer because we need to continuously reduce our cost, because we cannot increase our selling price. We cannot increase. What is Anshula is telling? I don't know. Okay, let's pass. Yesterday. Okay, so we started that the changing scenario earlier, selling price, because there was a monopoly of the manufacturer and they were able to increase the selling price. But because of tough competition, we are not able to increase the selling price above a certain value, because now the customer has the choices. Customer has the another choices available, options available, and hence it is a pressure on the manufacturer because we cannot increase our selling price. I use a pointer. We cannot increase our selling price. Okay. So this we discussed four golden voices. Then we discussed make more money, sellers market to buyers market. And earlier, cost plus profit is equal to price. That is the equation. Now, equation mathematically remains same. Price minus cost is equal to profit. But the only change here is that price is fixed. And this price is fixed by the competition. This price is fixed by the competition. So because of that competition, it is very difficult for us to increase the selling price. Okay. The only way to increase profit is cut cost. Or as a Kaizen practitioner, as a lean practitioner, I am always saying that cut waste. If you cut waste, or in TPM language, we can say cut the losses. There are 16 losses. If we cut the losses or cut the waste, then our cost can be reduced. So the only option is that we should work on the waste. We should work on the losses. And then only our profit can be increased. Okay. Then we saw the meaning of Kaizen. So Kai is change and Zen is better. So the translation of Kaizen is change for better. This is a word to word translation. But as I told, some Japanese are saying that Kaizen is change in yourself. Kaizen is change in yourself. So खुद में बदलाव. So it would start with a change in yourself. So that is also called as Kaizen. So we will can take both the meanings, change for the better or improvement in self. That is called as Kaizen. Okay. Then we discuss some examples. Then meaning of Kaizen. Kaizen is change for better. Kaizen is a small incremental change with immediate results. And Kaizen is having small risk and it requires no or minimal investment. So we discussed the meaning of Kaizen, change for better, small incremental change with immediate results, and Kaizen is having small risk, requires no or minimal investment. Then we also discussed that one step less, 1 second less, one N less. Suppose I am reducing the walking distance of operator by 1 step, 5 step, 10 step, 15 step. It is also Kaizen. It is also Kaizen. 1 second less. If I am reducing the cycle time by 1 second, suppose my current cycle time is 34 seconds and it is 33 seconds, but I am ensuring that my quality and safety is not hampered. I am working on non-value-added or work waste part and I am reducing that and I am reducing 1 second. They are to reduce the cycle time. That is also Toyota's approach, or one N less, 1 rupee less. It is also called as Kaizen approach. So you can start the Kaizen with very small step. Very small step. So normally I say save on something. SOS. Save on something. Either save 1 step, either save 1 second, either save 1 rupee, either save 1 unit of, for example, electricity, either save 1 unit. You can save on something. That is Kaizen. 1 step less, 1 second less, one is less, 1 unit less. That is Kaizen. So can we start today's session? Yesterday we discussed till here, right? Yesterday we discussed till here. Any doubt? Can I proceed further? I will just check your check. Yes. Yes, thank you. I will proceed. Now, I will discuss one approach of Kaizen in our personal life and then I can carry forward. So as I am telling you, Kaizen is sometimes very easy because it is a small and incremental change. You need not to invent something. You need not to be an Einstein or Newton like that. A small change, a small incremental change can be a Kaizen. Very simple steps or simple improvements. For example, in my personal life, suppose I am eating 3 rotis in my lunch, for example, or 3.5 rotis in my lunch, and suppose 3 rotis in dinner, just for an example. And suppose dietitian told me that instead of 3 rotis, you need to consume 1 roti from tomorrow onwards. 1 roti at the time of lunch and 1 roti at the time of dinner. As a personal level, what I'm taking reduction from 3 to 1, sometimes it is difficult because we are habitual that we are eating 3 rotis and then we are feeling that yes, our stomach is full, our appetite is good now. But in Kaizen way, what I normally suggest, for example, instead of reducing 1 roti from 3 rotis, suppose, or 3.5 rotis to 1 rotis, suppose I just reduced a quarter of the roti or half of the roti. So instead of 3.5 U, if I start eating 3 rotis, so normally my body will accept, because this is, I'm not reducing from 3.5 to 1 directly, only half roti or half half of the half, only quarter of the roti I am consuming less. And suppose I will continue for 10 to 15 days, then again quarter roti less, like that. So it is a gradual change. My body will also accept that change. So it is a personal level, and if you want to implement Kaizen way, you can start the incremental improvements. For example, currently I am walking 5,000 steps, and suppose anyone told me that you need to walk 15,000 steps. So from directly from the tomorrow, from 5,000 to 15,000, suppose I just started 5,250 steps, only 250 steps, then 5,500, like that. So this is an incremental change. Then my body will also accept. I will also not feeling the pain. So this is the Kaizen example at personal level. Just start with the small incremental change, but towards good. That is Kaizen. So this is personal level. You can start that I will eat one half or a quarter of the roti less. I will just start 200 steps more. Then again 200 steps more. It is an incremental. So that is called as Kaizen. So you can implement the Kaizen in your personal life like this way. Okay, understood? So Kaizen at personal level. This save on something. Start on good. Start something good. 1 second less, 1 step less, or for walking 100 step more. Like that. This is called as Kaizen in our personal life. A small. Okay. For example, okay, I will cover that example in another slide. So understood the meaning of Kaizen, Toyota's approach, and how we can implement Kaizen in our personal life just by improving very incremental changes, because our body will also accept that changes. Clear? Understood? Please type yes if it is okay. 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 Now, yesterday we discussed that we should work on Kaizens because it is a competition. Okay, it is a competition. But now, before discussing, let's discuss about the origin of Kaizen. And before discussing the origin of Kaizen, I would like to ask you some question about one small country, and that country is called as Japan. Because the word Kaizen is came from the Japan. It is a Japanese word. Kai means change, and Zen means good or better. So these are the Japanese words. So origin of Kaizen is from the Japan. Okay. Can anyone tell me what you know about Japan? Then we will discuss how Japan transformed themselves. They invented a lot of tools. Not only Kaizen, there are lots of tools, but just discuss what you know about Japan. And then we will discuss the origin of Japan, the transformation of Japan. Okay. So what people are saying, I will just check. TQM, okay, 20 years ahead than India, land of rising sun, destroyed completely in World War. Yes, Somya, country demolished by bombs. Yes, junk maker country. Yes. Okay. Now I will tell you some facts about Japan. So you can just Google out. Japan is situated on the Pacific Ring of Fire. And this small country, there are normally, yes, land with minimal resources, correct. Well-disciplined countries, that is also correct. But let me tell you about Japan. One of the problem or one of the limitation, you can say that they don't have the resources in their soil. As Sahul is correctly saying, they have minimal or very less resources. For example, Gulf countries have the crude oil in their soil. Some countries are having the gold or aluminum, some metals in their soil. But Japan is lagging in that unfortunate country because they don't have the very few resources or no resources in their soil. Okay, this is one limitation. Second limitation is that it is a land of volcanoes, it's a land of earthquakes mainly because Japan is situated on the Pacific Ring of Fire, and normally there are 1,200 to 1,500 earthquakes in a year. In a year, and in last month there are small 900 earthquakes in Japan. You can just check. Last 45 days, there are 900 small earthquakes in Japan. So just imagine a very small country, equivalent to Maharashtra of India, Maharashtra state, but having no resources at all or very few resources. They are situated on the Pacific Ring of Fire, unfortunately, and there are about 1,200 to 1,500 earthquakes in a year. And that country mainly depend on industry. That country mainly depend on industry because of climate of farming. Like in India, our main we are dependent on the farming, but they are not dependent on the farming because of their climate condition, because of their land. So 50% land they cannot grow the crops like that. So this is their three limitations. So having no resources, situated on the ring of fire, and only focus is on industry because they cannot depend on farming, etc. And this Japan is a very small. And this Japan was destroyed completely, particularly Hiroshima and Nagasaki on 6th August 1945 and 9th August 1945. There were atomic bombs, okay, and dropped on these cities, and Japan completely collapsed because Hiroshima was an industrial hub, and Japan was dependent on industry. Japan was dependent on industry, and at that time there were two limitations that industry is demolished by these bombs. But prior to that, always remember that Japan was not famous, but Japan was known as junk maker country. Japan was famous or known as junk maker country. Means people were laughing at the quality of the Japanese products. Literally, they were making jokes. They were cracking jokes about Japan's quality. So that was the image of Japan during 1947, 1945 or prior to that. People are saying Japan is a junk maker country. There is one story. I think in that book, there is story in Sony is a Japanese company, but some people are saying this story so that they were writing made in Japan words in small letters, very small letters. And why they are writing made in Japan in very small letters? Because they were thinking that if people read, yes, it is made in Japan, then they will not buy our products. So that was the image. That was the image of Japan. If it is made in Japan, nobody was buying. Nobody was purchasing a car from Japan. Till 1960, nobody was purchasing a car of Japan's manufacturers. Only Japanese were purchasing, but nobody outside the Japan was purchasing the car, Japanese car. That was the impression of Japan. But now you are saying that it is famous for the quality. It is famous for the discipline. It is 20 years ahead. But what Japanese did only in 25 years after World War II, in 1970, Japan was known for the top class quality. The country which is famous for the junk maker country, which is known as junk maker country, that country became the top class quality country in just 25 years. See the discipline, see the dedication, see the work done by the Japanese to transform their country from the junk maker to the top class quality. And they invented a lot of tools. And one of tool is KAIZEN, Toyota Production System, right? SMED, Pokayoke. So Karu Ishikawa developed a cause and effect diagram. They made a bunch of 7QC tools and introduced the concept once again. So these were the tools. Japanese discovered these tools and they transformed their country. And one of the important tool was Kaizen. So they changed the mentality of the people. They changed the attitude of the people. So that the Japan transformed from the junk maker country to a top class quality country, they were focusing on quality. They were focusing on Kaizen. And that is the transformation of Japan. Normally, I tell this story because it is an inspiration. The country which was literally Japanese were standing in a queue and they were just asking for the food. Just Japanese economy was at the worst. They were begging for the food. But in only 25 years, they become top class quality country. People were cracking the jokes. Mera juta hai Japani. There is a song by Raj Kapoor. That juta was fata hua, right? So that was people were making about the Japanese products. So, but Japan proved themselves as a top class quality country, and the result of this, Japan became world's second largest economy in 1968. Only after 20 to 20, 22 to 25 years, the country transformed themselves from junk maker country to the world's, I will use point, the world's second largest economy. And this is because of lots of tools. There is dedication, contribution of lots of people. And Japan became world's second largest economy. And one of the tool is Kaizen. The origin started from the Japan because at that time there was a need. And also TPM also originated from the Japan because Japanese, they were need for the improvement because their economy was at worst. And they implemented Kaizen, TPM, SMD, Pokayoke, lots of tools, right? So that is the transformation of Japan. They mainly focusing on Kaizen and improvement, okay? And Japan was holding this position until 2010. Also, this example, as I told you, after Second World War, Japanese economy was at worst. But America, particularly, there are two quality gurus from the America. They went to Japan, and their name was Sir Edward Deming and Sir Joseph Juran. These two quality gurus, Edward Deming and Joseph Juran, they were invited to Japan. America sent them to Japan. Why? To rebuild Japanese industry and to help Japanese to improve their quality standard. To improve their quality standard because Japan was a junk maker country. Japan was a junk maker country. In 1960, it was difficult for Japan to sell a single car abroad. It was very difficult even for the good Japanese companies to sell a single car abroad till 1960s. But in 1984, Japan exported more than 6 million cars. 6 million cars. In 1989, Toyota became number one brand in America. So this is the transformation of Japan. This is the transformation of Japan, very small country. They transformed themselves. Japanese transformed themselves and from the junk maker to the world's second largest economy at that time. And it is famous for the top class quality. And now if you speak about Japan, we always say quality products. We are not saying that it's a junk maker country. Now we can say this is quality product. This is the transformation of Japan. Okay. Understood? Story of Japan, transformation of Japan, origin of Japan, sorry, origin of Kaizen from Japan. Okay. Okay. So now I will proceed further. So now we will discuss some of the quotes on Kaizen because these quotes from the Japanese people, normally I share. There are lots of quotes, but these are my favorite ones. So I will just discuss some quotes about Kaizen and then we will proceed. Okay. So first quote is from Masaki Imai-san. Masaki Imai was the founder of the Kaizen Institute, and his famous quote on Kaizen is everyday improvement, everybody improvement, and everywhere improvement. As I told in Toyota, I visited, they're focusing on one of the KPI, and that KPI is Kaizen per man per month. So Kaizen per man per month, we should continuously work on Kaizen. Kaizen is everyday improvement. Kaizen is everybody improvement from top class, top management to the shop floor, from top floor to the shop floor. It is everybody. It is every day and it is everywhere improvement on each and every sector, on each and every department. So each and every department should work on the Kaizen because it is a everyday improvement, it is everybody improvement, and it is a everywhere improvement. So that quote I like on Kaizen. Okay. The second quote, and I will call it as a how to implement Kaizen. It is called as purposes of implementing Kaizen. And there are four words. I will explain in detail in next to next slide. So this is the quote from the Shiego Shingo. Shiego Shingo, who invented Pokayoke, who discovered the Pokayoke, who discovered the concept of single minute exchange of dice for the setup time reduction. So for the setup time reduction, he introduced the Pokayoke. And as per his quote, what is Kaizen? Kaizen, the purposes of Kaizen or the correct sequence to identify Kaizen is easier, better, faster, cheaper. So normally I call it as EBFC rule or EBFC way. Easier, better, faster, cheaper. Once again I repeat, EBFC way or EBFC rule is what is easier, better, faster, cheaper. I will elaborate on this on next to next slide. So there are four purposes of Kaizen and Kaizen should be implemented with the same sequence. Easier, better, faster and cheaper. Yesterday we discussed that making our job easy should be the primary focus of the Kaizen and that is the correct sequence. Make your job easy. So we should follow these four words easier, better, faster, and cheap. That should be the correct purpose of the Kaizen. That is called as EBFC way or EBFC rule. Then Taichi Uno. Taichi Uno, he introduced the concept of seven West. And he was the main architect of Toyota production system. He was working in Toyota. And for lean practitioner, for Kaizen practitioner, he is our guru. He is our sensei. Because he worked a lot. Lots of efforts taken by Taichi Uno. And with Toyota's MD, he actually started to implement Toyota production system that today is called as lean. That correct sequence of Kaizen as per Taichi Uno is manual work Kaizen. Means first I should implement Kaizen on manual work. So I should reduce the fatigue of the operator. And because of that, the speed will increase. Suppose I am taking 10 minutes. Suppose I reduce the fatigue and it is now I am doing it in 9 minutes. So manual work is also decreased and the benefits is also there. Then you should work on the equipment, guys. So now you should focus on the machine. Firstly, focus on manual work, fatigue reduction. Then focus on the equipment, Kaizen. Related to equipment, how I can increase the output from 300 to 305, 305 to 310. How can I take care of the equipments where TPM can be implemented? So that is the equipment, Kaizen. So I need to focus on the equipment and then process, Kaizen. So there are different codes. You can follow any, but EBFC is my favorite. Easier, better, faster, cheaper. That should be the four purposes of the Kaizen. Okay, and I am discussing this in detail in next to next slide. Okay, so now let's see two more quotes. This is Nakao, Nakao-san, and he was the founder of the Shingi Jutsu Consulting. And he, in his own words, Nakao-san, he is the founder of the Shingi Jutsu Consulting. And he is saying that Kaizen should come from operator's complaint. What does it mean? Means we need to make job easy. Operator should complain. There is fatigue for me. There are lots of bending movement for me. I'm not feeling comfortable. There are a lot of fatigue on me. There are a lot of stress on me. So Kaizen should come from operator's complaint. Kaizen should come from the operator's complaint. Okay. And in regard to this quote, I also remember one quote, and this quote is not related to Kaizen, but this quote is related to humanity. This quote is related to humanity, and this quote is if you feel pain, you are alive. But if you feel other people's pain, you are a human being. This is a quote by Leo Tolstoy. This is my favorite quote. If you feel pain, you are alive. But if you feel other people's pain, you are a human being. So you should consider the pain of the people, particularly the pain of the operator, because they are continuously working. They are standing for 8 hours, 12 hours, sometimes for the 16 hours, and they are working. Okay. So you should work on their fatigue reduction. You should work on their pain reduction. This is my favorite quote. So Kaizen should come from operator's complaint. So this is also one of the quote, and this is the quote by Leo Tolstoy. And the last quote is by Karo Ishikawa, who invented Ishikawa diagram, who discovered the Ishikawa diagram, cause and effect diagram. And he is saying that small improvements are always better than big changes. How? Because that big changes that never happen. So we are talking a lot about big changes, but if they are not happening, we are just only talking and talking. Then small improvements are always better than big changes that never happen. Okay? That never happen. So this is the quote from the Karo Ishikawa. So these are the quotes on Kaizen. I am again repeating, Kaizen is everyday improvement, everybody improvement, and everywhere improvement. There are four purposes of Kaizen: easier, better, faster, and cheaper. You can say it is EFC rule. And the correct sequence of Kaizen is manual work Kaizen, equipment Kaizen, and process Kaizen. My favorite is EBFC because that gives us a direction how to implement Kaizen. But this is also good. Kaizen should come from the operator's complaint. Means we need to make their jobs easy because we are a human being and we need to feel other person's pain as well. And particularly contract workers who are working on the machine, they are making the jobs. Okay. And small improvements are always better than big changes. And if big changes are working, then they're always good. But if they are only talking and on paper, then that never happen. Then small improvements are always better than the big changes that never happen. So understood these quotes. These are the different quotes on Kaizen. I collected 5 quotes because these are my favorite ones. Okay. Understood the quotes, different quotes on Kaizen. What is Kaizen? Because these are the gurus. These are the legends. And we are learning from them. We are learning from them. Have you understood the quotes on Kaizen? Can I proceed? Understood? Okay. So you can remember any of the quote, but I request you, you please remember all the quotes. But always remember, if you want to implement the Kaizen, you should follow the EBFC. Easier, better, faster, cheaper. Easier, better, faster, cheaper. Easier, better, faster, cheaper. And I will explain what is EBFC exactly means. Okay. Now let's proceed further. Okay. So there is a one video by Masaki Imai-san. He was the founder of the Kaizen Institute. And he said that when you are embracing Kaizen, okay, there are 3 most important requirements. You can just listen his video. It is a very small video. And he's telling that there are 3 most important requirements for embracing Kaizen culture in any organization. If you want to embrace a Kaizen culture in any organization, you need to follow these 3 most important requirements. Okay. Let's see what is first important requirement for embracing Kaizen. This is Masaki Mason, founder of the Kaizen Institute, and he's saying that top management commitment is the most important requirement for embracing Kaizen in any organization. So this is the first very important requirement for embracing Kaizen in any organization. Okay, let's see the second most important requirement for embracing the Kaizen. And the second most requirement for embracing Kaizen in any organization is top management commitment. Oh, again same, okay? Then third most important requirement for embracing Kaizen culture in any organization is top management commitment. So it's a joke apart, but if you want to start a Kaizen journey, TPM journey, Lean journey, Six Sigma journey, any journey, improvement journey, there is one important requirement, or that is the most important requirement, and hence Masaki Mason is saying that 3 most requirements is top management commitment. top management commitment and top management commitment. So top management commitment is very, very important. You are learning here. If you want to implement Kaizen, there should be a commitment from your top management. Okay. Now, we will discuss how to identify Kaizens. So there are different approaches. So normally I told you that I started that why is improvement required? We should improve in product, process and services. What is the purpose of any business? Market, how market is changing. Competition is going tough and tough. We cannot increase selling price beyond a certain limit because of the competition. There is a pressure. We should work on the cost reduction or cutting the waste. Okay. And secondly, we discussed that we should implement Kaizens in our organization. But people are saying, sir, please give us the clues. How to identify Kaizen? Yes, you are saying that please implement Kaizens, but please give us some clues how to identify Kaizens in our organization. So, my first clue to all of you is 3D. My first clue to all of you is 3D. So, what is 3D? Can anyone guess what is 3D? How to identify Kaizen? First approach is 3D. What is 3D? Okay. Mm-hmm, 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 mm-hmm. Okay. Mm-hmm. Okay. So these are not related to this. Now, first D, second and third D, just listen carefully. If you want to implement Kaizens, if you want to identify Kaizens, forget about implementation. Firstly, you need to identify the Kaizen opportunities. Because you are saying that we should implement Kaizens, but how? So first clue is 3D, and that 3D is called as danger, dirty, and difficult. So correct sequence is difficult, danger, and dirty. But identify 3Ds in your areas. Suppose you are working in offices, you are working in manufacture sector. So I always tell people identify 3Ds in your areas. What is that 3Ds? Danger, dirty, and difficult. Suppose I'm a maintenance head and I want to implement Kaizen. So I should firstly understand the 3D conditions in my department. What are these 3D? Difficult, danger, and dirty. So I should make a list of these 3Ds, 3D abnormalities. Okay. In TPM, we are talking about 7 types of abnormalities, fugais. But here is a simple technique. If you are not remembering that 3D is very simple. So identify difficult, danger, and dirty conditions in your area. And let's start working on it and initiate Kaizens against these 3D conditions. Identify 3Ds in your areas and initiate Kaizens against these 3D conditions. Okay. So this is first clue. First clue is identify 3Ds in your areas. That is very, very important. Understood. Then initiate Kaizens. Let's capture the opinions. Let's capture the thoughts. Let's capture the ideas of employees and initiate Kaizens against these 3D conditions, against these 3D abnormalities. I'm once again repeating difficult, danger, and dirty. So you should work on difficult, danger, and dirty conditions in your areas and then start identifying Kaizens against those conditions. Let's see some of the examples. Let's see some of the examples. For example, difficult. Yesterday we discussed a lot about difficult because I am finding difficult to lift the chair and there is a wheel. So now that difficulty is removed. I am a student finding very difficult to see the ink level in the refill. It was difficult for me. Kaizen is making a body transparent, making a refill transparent. As a trainer, it is very difficult for me to come to the laptop every time and press enter. So I am using a slide changer. So it is very difficult for me to change the channels of the TV because I need to stand up again, go to the TV again, press the button again, come back again, get stand up again, go near to the TV again, change. So that is difficult for me. So always find out what are the difficulties in my current job. Always find out what are the difficulties in my current job and make them easy. Brainstorm, take ideas from the people, identify the difficulties in your areas, in your jobs, and make them easy. So I started using slide changer because it was difficult for me to go to the laptop every time and enter. So I just purchased the slide changer. I made my job easy. It was difficult for me to change the channel going there manually. So it make I remote is developed. It is making my job easy. It was very difficult for me because there are different heights of the people. It is very difficult for them to set the height of the chair. So I used the chair with the height adjustment. That is Kaizen. Because of that, 5 feet person, 6 feet person, 5.5 feet person can be accommodated easily because they have the height adjustment. So first clue is identify difficult condition in your department, difficult condition in your company, difficult condition in your home as well, and make their job easy. Make our parents' job easy, make our wife's job easy, make our operator job easy, make it easy. So examples are chair with wheels, pen with transparent body. We can easily identify the level of the link ink in repair. Color coding, because earlier it was very difficult to find out the which color. So now it is very easy. So first clue is difficult. Please find the difficult condition and make them easy. Understood? Difficult. Now we will discuss danger. So find out the abnormalities which leads to an accident, health hazard. Suppose if because employee is the biggest asset of any organization. And suppose workers working on machine. I saw lots of accidents in industry. Persons lose their hands. One person came with the two hands at 8 a.m. and went at 9:45 a.m. with one and a half hands because that half hand was stuck in the machine and we had to cut that hand. So these are the accidents I observed. So people are coming in our company with 10 fingers. They should not go at home with 9 fingers because somebody is waiting at home, their wife, their children. They are waiting for that person, even though he is operator. Even though he's operator, he's making working on machine. And we need to identify abnormalities which can lead to an accident, which can lead to an health hazard because he is a poor person. For example, casual workers, they're only earning 10, 15,000 per month. And somebody is waiting. They are staying in one room. There are lots of, suppose they are the single, they are not married, so they are doing a lots of adjustment. So please identify abnormalities which can lead to an accident, which can lead to health hazard, because they are also human being. We should feel their pain and we should proactively find out the abnormalities which may lead to an accident. So putting an engineering control, that is photoelectric sensors on press machine, because if my hand is inserted, machine will automatically stop. Then person will not come with one and half hand. So please take care of their fingers. Please take care of their health. So that is the second clue. Identify abnormalities. Suppose there are open wires. So I will really tell you a story. There was a oily shop floor, and one of my friend was walking. So there was a slope, and there is slippery. There was a slope. There was no railing to for actually support, and that become the oily. And my one of the friend who was working, he was going for a lunch, and there was no railing. And in one hand he has a tiffin, and one hand he has a water bottle. So when he was walking, he slipped, and there was no railing, and one both hands were engaged, and he fall down on his head, backside of the head, and for 3 months. because there was a cement. And for 3 months, he was in coma. He was just married. For 3 months, he was in coma. Just very small abnormality, very unsafe condition. And because of that unsafe condition, one person was in coma for 3 months. And hence, we should identify abnormalities which can lead to an accident and please initiate kaizens against those abnormalities. Sometimes it is just do it. It is not a kaizen. So I will tell you what is the difference between just do it and kaizen. Okay. But right now, consider that we should act on these danger abnormalities. Okay. And third is called as dirty abnormalities which contaminate the floor. For example, spillages, leakages. So kaizens against the sources of the contamination. So providing guards to protect sensors from metal chips or Kaizen done to prevent coolant leakage, spillage, burr leakage on the floor. So there are lots of dirty things. So leakage, spillage, there are we should provide guards, we should protect our sensors from metal chips, etc. etc. So third clue is find out the abnormalities related to dirty which can contaminate the floor and please initiate the Kaizens against those. So first clue I gave you that always remember 3D, difficult, danger, and dirty. And please find out kaizens related to 3Ds. Clear? Please type clear if it is 3D is clear. 3D clear? Okay. So this was, so can I proceed now? It is clear now? 3D is clear? Okay. Okay. Let's proceed further. So difficult, danger, and dirty. Then, but always remember 3D abnormalities are like our enemies. 3D abnormalities are like our enemies, and we should act against those enemies. But now this approach is not enemy, it is a guide for us. So that is called as 3R. So I will tell what is 3R or 5R. We should adopt this approach. We should work against 3Ds. Please note down. We should work against 3Ds. We should work against danger, dirty, and difficult condition. But we should adopt 3R. That is 3R approach, and we can identify Kaizen by adopting this 3R approach. So what is 3R? So this is second hint. Can anyone tell me what is 3R? Yes, Sajid is correctly saying. So it is nothing else but reduce, reuse, and recycle. So reduce, reuse, and recycle. So you can adopt this approach. You can tell your employees, you can tell your operators, you can tell your engineers, supervisors. So use these 3R. If you want to identify Kaizen, first is called as reduce. For example, I am reducing the consumption of plastic bags, which are very thin and which are dangerous for the environment. For example, suppose earlier I was consuming 10 bags in a month. While shopping, I was actually taking these plastic bags from the shopkeeper and suppose 10 bags per month. So can I reduce it to 7? Actually, it should be 0, but just gradually. Suppose can I reduce it? Can I reduce the consumption of plastics by 30%? I can reduce the energy usage by 10%. So when there is no one is there, I can install some sensors and automatically there is a shut off of light, etc. But I will reduce the energy by 10%. So we initiated one Kaizen. We reduce the use of compressed air. because jobs were unloaded by a gripper, and that gripper was operating on the pneumatics. So we converted some of the grippers from pneumatic to mechanical, and they were removing the jobs easily. Earlier there was a pneumatic connections and they were removing the jobs, but now we converted some of the hydraulic that grippers from the pneumatic to the mechanical arrangement, so that job can be unmoved or unloaded easily. So that first is called as reduce. Always reduce the consumption of plastic bag, reduce the consumption of energy, reduce the consumption of papers. For example, I am consuming 100 papers, 100 A4 papers in a month. Can I reduce it to 70 papers in a month? Can I initiate some guidance for the reduction of the paper? Because trees are cut when we are using the papers. Normally, we are now there are lots of technologies and people are also making the papers. But suppose 10 to 20 years back, most of the time it was a tree cutting. So first R is, can I reduce something? Can I reduce the consumption? Okay. Second R is, can I reuse? Suppose I reduce the papers from 100 to 70. Can I reuse? So these 70 papers, I am using only one side. Can I use the both side for a print? Suppose it is not important documents. So for important documents, yes, you cannot use the another side. But it is very simple documents or the production plan. We need to just release to the shop floor supervisors. I can use the one-sided papers, for example. So this is called as reuse. Can I reuse? Can I reuse? For example, normally my grandfather, normally it is saying that currently it is a very, very essential that we should protect our Mother Earth. And lots of climate changes are happening. There are lots of things are happening. Particularly my grandfather, particularly my grandfather, he was illiterate. Now we are so-called educated people. But he was going to farm and he was carrying his food in one of the cloth. He was not using plastic at that time, no plastic bottle, and he was carrying his food in cloth. And after eating, he was washing that cloth, and again he was taking that cloth back to home. Again using the cloth on the second day, like that. And when that cloth was torn out, so he was using that cloth to clean his cycles. So those people who were illiterate, but they were reusing it. They were not throwing it. So this is the reuse. Can I reuse one-sided paper to print? And third R is called as recycle. For example, we are using the recycled water like that. So this is 3R. You should tell your people you can apply this philosophy, reduce, reuse, and recycle. So I have given examples. So please start to implement Kaizens by using this philosophy, reduce, reuse, and recycle. Clear? So just tell them, we initiate? Normally, for example, you can take one theme. So 3D is one theme for this month, for example, August month. So we will identify Kaizens related to 3D, for example. And in September, we should identify Kaizens related to 3R, for example. So these are the themes, 3D theme, 3R theme, and then people will give their Kaizens like that. Okay. But it is said that 5R. Can anyone tell me what is 5R? So these two R's are added. One is R is added before reduce and one R is added after recycle. What is 5R? 3R is understood. Reduce, reuse, recycle. What is 5R? Okay. Yes. Refuse. Yes. We should say, before reduce, we should say refuse or reject. Suppose I am saying that I refuse to use a single-use plastic bags. I refuse. I reject that we should print this on paper. So for example, earlier bank was providing me the statement. There was a letter coming from the bank. So I told my bank that I don't need these prints because I have the app. So reduce it. Sorry, refuse it. So first R before reduce is always good. Eliminate or avoid, refuse, reject. So I'm saying no. I'm rejecting that I will not use the plastic bag. I'm rejecting. I will not use the plastic bottle. Means one time use plastic. I'm saying about not good plastic, but one time use plastic. So firstly, you can say I will reject. I will reject asbestos. I will reject the plastic dishes. There are lots of waste. I will reject those. Okay, I will use water bottle, for example. I will not use that again. Oh, I will carry my own water bottle everywhere, for example. So first R he before reduces refuse, reject or avoid. Okay. Then again reduce, reuse, recycle. And what is fifth R? And this R we forgot. And that R is called as repair. That R is called as repair. So I will type in chat box what are the 5 R's. Okay. So I can say refuse or reject. That is my first R. Then reduce, reuse, recycle, and then repair. So particularly, I am talking about your personal life, in not in industry. Particularly, repair is very risky in industry because you need to have a customer approval for that. Particularly if you are related to our product, we are repairing our product. But here I am talking about repair. For example, my grandfather was repairing umbrella. Suppose he was repairing his chappals. He was not throwing that chappal. He was repairing it. So in childhood, when there is a refill is ended, so we were inserting a new refill in our pen. So we were using the same pen. If refill is finished, we were putting a new refill in it. Yes or no? Just just imagine the years, 20 years, 25 years when we were student. We were every time we were not purchasing a new pen. We were inserting a refill in it. We were repairing our chappals. We were repairing our umbrellas. We were repairing our shoes. We were repairing our pants. But now we forgot to repair. We are using very high resources. Suppose we are not repairing it. Suppose in one shoe, two shoe, we have 10 shoes, for example. We are forget to repair. And there is a burden on our Mother Earth. So, particularly for your personal life, please restart repairing. Repair your umbrellas. Repair your, I'm not saving the pants, etc. But start to repair. So I was putting the another refill. I was not purchasing a pen, but now I'm purchasing a pen. There are lots of pens I'm just purchasing. I'm not repairing anything. I'm just purchasing new. So you can initiate the Kaizens by using this 5R approach. Refuse, reduce, reuse, recycle, and repair. What is your experience? I'm not here. I'm not talking about company's perspective. Uh, because in company repair, for any repair we need to take a customer approval. Here I am purposely giving you the examples related to our personal life. We will discuss what is the difference between rework and repair if time permits. Okay, and that repair is always dangerous, particularly related to our product, but here I am using that related to our personal life. Or okay, so that is called as 5R. So this is second clue. So either you can use this philosophy of 3R or 5R, or 3R if no 5R is not possible. Reduce, reuse, and recycle. Okay, clear? So how to identify Kaizens we are discussing. Okay. Now there is one more principle I will tell you. So this was one of the Kaizen we implemented in our company, one of the company, because I came from a village. in one of the village from Maharashtra. And there was, when I was a child, so we were having water after every 4 or 5 days because there is scarcity of water. So when I was working in one of the company, I observed that people were using this tap to wash their hands. And this flow was really not essential. For washing the dish, there was a high flow was really essential. But when are people using this flow, this tap for washing their hands? And just we calculated the flow rate, maximum flow rate, because people were opening it at maximum. Then it was 12 liter per minute. We just put the orifice inside. Orifice put in that taps. At that time, it was a very old Kaizen, near about, I think, 15 to 16 years back. Now there are lots of technology advanced, but that is very simple Kaizen at that time. And max flow rate was 4 liter per minute. And because of this simple Kaizen, we could able to save 1,50,000 liters of water. 1,50,000 liters of water. And I initiated this initiative with the union. Union also supported me very well because I told them because there are scarcity of water in a lot of areas. So we should save on something. We should save the waters. So this is just example. Okay. Now, so I told you our enemies 3D, danger, difficult, danger, and dirty. Then I told you approach. This is not our enemies, but one of the approach is that reduce, reuse, and recycle. Okay, that approach can be used three R: reduce, reuse, and recycle to identify kaizens. Okay. Now, what should be the sequence? So normally one sequence we already discussed, and that sequence is called as EBFC rule: easier, better, faster, cheaper. But there is one more sequence. That one more sequence is called as. So first we will understand that EBFC and then we will understand those. That EBFC, I told you that I will elaborate. Okay. So this EBFC rule or EBFC way, who discovered this or who told that Kaizen should be implemented in this sequence only? There should be four purposes of Kaizen, and these four purposes are easier, better, faster, cheaper. Who said this? There was a quote. Who said this quote? Who was that gentleman? Yes. The name of that gentleman or the legend, the great personality is Shiego Shingo. And he was saying that there are four purposes for improvement or Kaizen: easier, better, faster, cheaper. Easier, better, faster, cheaper. What does it mean? What does it mean? Easier means from the point of the operator. From day one, I'm telling you, we should make our job easy. I'm using the word our. It may be for me, for operator, for engineer, anyone. Always make their jobs easier. I also make my job easier. I also make my wife's job easier. So from the point of operator, also safer for the operator. So easier and safety. We should always think about that operator should able to work it easily and operator should able to work it safely. So first is easier. Okay. Always find out the kaizens in that sequence. Firstly, make their job easy and make their job safe. So this is related to our employees. This is called as voice of employees, related to employees. Okay. Then better. What does it mean? Better from the point of improving the quality of product. Suppose my rejection is 5%. Can I reduce the rejection? So jobs are getting damaged. Can I implement some kaizens to reduce that damage rejection? Suppose, can I initiate some of the projects which are improving the quality of my product? Okay. So please consider, can I initiate some Pokayoke? Can I install some Pokayokes from the point of improving the quality of a product so that should be no customer complaints. There should be no customer complaints. Customer should be happy. It is called as VOC, voice of customer, because customer pays our salary and we should focus on improving the quality of product. So that is called as be better. If it is called as faster. Faster means, can we increase efficiency? Can we increase OE? Can we increase the output? Earlier it was 300. Now it is a 305 per hour. So I have reduced the cycle time and hence my output is increased. So if you are increasing your output, if you are increasing your productivity, if you are increasing your efficiency, then it is called as faster. And fourth is cheaper. So from the point of reducing costs, why Shioko Shingo is saying like this? Why Shioko Shingo is saying like this? Because employee, this is about employees. They are our biggest assets. And we are selling our product because of that. So make their jobs easy. Then this is related to customer. Initiate guidance related to improving the quality of a product, as well as some reducing reducing rework, like that, like that. Third is called as faster. Efficiency. Can we increase the efficiency? Can we reduce the cycle time? Can we improve the OE? Okay. That is called as increasing efficiency. And fourth is called as cheaper. Then you should focus on reducing costs. Then you should focus on the reducing costs. Okay. Yesterday I told you there is a three filter test before implementing any Kaizen. So I will tell that three filter test. If you are implementing any Kaizen, first question you should ask, if I implement this Kaizen, will there be any negative impact considering the safety? For example, if I reduce the cycle time and there are some health related issues or accidents may happen. So first question should I ask, if I implement this Kaizen, will be there fatigue, will be there an accident, will be there an incident, may operator lose his finger, etc., etc. First ask that, should I should implement this Kaizen if and only if answer should be no, means it should not affect badly on the safety. No, if I implement this Kaizen, there will be not a negative consequence. Okay. First filter is that there should not be any negative impact on safety. Okay. This is first filter. Second, we should not deteriorate the quality. Means one of the Kaizen implemented in our organization, and because of that, a big customer complaint came. Because at that time it was a very short term thinking, and then we came to know that no, it is we should approach to the customer. That was the problem at that time, and that is second filter. If I am implementing a Kaizen, quality should not be affected negatively. It should improve. It should not deteriorate. So safety should not deteriorate, quality should not deteriorate. And third, my machine condition should not deteriorate. If I am implementing this Kaizen, for example, hydraulic oil, I am using very cheap quality of hydraulic oil. There are coolant. So we are using very cheap quality of coolant. And because of that, lots of customer complaints are coming, that lots of tools are breaking, machines are stopping frequently. So what does it mean? If you are just reducing the cost, and because of that, there are negative consequences related to quality, related to safety, and related to machine health. Okay. For example, we cannot put kerosene in our bike, right? Even though it is a cheaper, we should always feel a good quality of petrol because it will deteriorate our machine, it will deteriorate our bike. So always remember three filter test. Before implementing any Kaizen, first ask, am I deteriorating safety? Answer should say no. Am I deteriorating a quality? No. Am I deteriorating the condition of my machine? Answer should no. And then only you can think about implementing the guys. Clear? So 3D concept is clear. 3R is clear. ABFC is clear. Please write 3D, 3R, and ABFC in chat box if it is clear. 3D, 3R, ABFC. Okay, 3D, 3R, ABFC. Clear na? 3D, 3R, ABFC. 3D, 3R, ABFC. Very good. Yes. Okay, now let's proceed further. Let's proceed further. ABFC way. And there is one more sequence. So you can adopt any sequence, but I'm just telling you the hints. Okay, that sequence is called as ASTEM. It is called as ASTEM principle or ASTEM. What is that ASTEM? So yesterday we discussed that we should change the attitude of the people first. Normally I'm saying that first change should be here in our head, and then we should improve on the shop floor. Because first change, we should think with our head. We should think with our hand. So Japanese are saying that please think with our hand. Let's go to the Gemba. I will discuss about that as well. But first, develop your attitude. Please develop your thinking. Example. I always give the example of my son. My son never waste a single grain of rice. Even though he's 10th standard, only 16 years age, he is not wasting a single drop of water, and he is not throwing a single piece of paper on street, only using dustbins. These are very three simple things, but he follows it rigorously. And for me, he's like guru because the three things, he's only 16 years old, but he is not wasting a single grain of rice in his plate. Secondly, he is not wasting a single drop of water. So very efficient use of water. And third, as I told you, he is not throwing anything on street. Otherwise, he's collecting. Sometimes he saw the garbage, he collect and put in the nearby dustbin. So that is called as changing the attitude. That is called as developing the attitude. That is called as changing the thinking. That is called as cultural change. For example, I normally give people, suppose you are not Einstein or Newton, you are not, any idea is not coming in your mind, for example, for implementing Kaizen on shop floor. Forget, it's okay for me. Suppose earlier you were taking a glass of water, full glass of water, and you were just drinking half glass of water and throwing half glass of water. So for every glass of water, you were throwing half glass of water. Just take half glass of water. Please change that habit. That is also improved thinking. So normally I tell people, normally when I visit hotels, people are using Bisleri bottles, only half of the Bisleri bottle they were throwing that. So if you consume a less, please take that less tea. So do not throw. Please take the necessary food in your plate. Do not throw that food in dustbin. So please do not throw your food. Please do not throw the water because it water is precious. So that is also your change in attitude. That is also your change in thinking. Normally tell that, please, if you want half glass of water, take only that. Earlier I was using full glass, I was throwing half glass, and now I am using only half glass or suppose quarter of the glass. Please take that water only. You should improve your thinking like that. So first is called as A stands for attitude. Please develop attitude. Please change the habits. Please initiate a culture. So please focus on that. So initiating the culture, and this is a top management commitment is very important. You should lead by the example, walk the talk. So develop that attitude. Okay. Second is called as focus on safety. So attitude to change now, focus on safety. These are different approaches. You can use any. So focus on safety, danger conditions. T stands for working on time reduction. It is not only cycle time reduction. For example, I am an inspector and I take 300 seconds to inspect this job. Can I do it in 280 seconds? For 20 seconds, I am doing some activity, XYZ activity. And if I eliminate those activity, my 20 seconds will be reduced. For example, earlier operator was walking 100 steps to check that on gauge. So point of use storage. So we came that gauge is near to the machine, and because of that, motion waste is also reduced and time is also reduced. So working on time reduction, it may be related to inspection, it may be related to cycle time. So focus on developing attitude, focus on safety, working on time reduction. It is not only a cycle time. I'm again telling it is for just example. I have written cycle time, inspection time, searching time, waiting time, cycle time, all the times. You can reduce the searching time. You can reduce walking time. You can reduce your waiting time. You can reduce your cycle time. So that approach. E stands for saving energy. Reduce the consumption of compressed air. Please save the electricity like that. So these are some kaizens related to the and aim for money. These are called as cost reduction kaizen. This is called as cost reduction kaizen. So ASTM is clear. Develop your attitude. Create a culture. Focus on safety. We already discussed. So I'm not discussing on safety, but yes, time. Working on time reduction, cycle time reduction, waiting time reduction, inspection time reduction. Okay. And saving on energy, reducing the consumption of compressed air, electricity units. And M stands for saving money, cost reduction kaizen. Okay, 1 rupee less, $1 less, 1 N less. So understood ASTM principle? Please type yes if ASTM principle is clear. Okay. I will show you one picture. I will show you one picture. And with the permission of my son, normally he says no. So this is the plate. Hmm? Uh, 2 months back, we went to Chennai. We went to Kanyakumari in Tamil Nadu state, and we were coming back from Tamil Nadu to Kerala, and we stopped for lunch. So this is the plate, hmm? And this is the plate of my son. The only thing I want to tell you that this is after he finished his meal. This plate is after he finished his meal, and this photo was taken by that hotel owner. And he told me, sir, this is the first customer I have ever seen. This was the condition of plate after my son finished his meal. Just giving an example, see the level. He is not wasting a single grain of rice. Even though he's 16 years, he was saying that please do not share this example. But normally I share this example because he is very good. Even 16 years, but see the thinking. So I will not waste a single grain of rice. And to be honest, I'm proud of my son. And this picture was taken by the hotel owner near to the Trivandrum. And he told, sir, I will display this picture. My son is so, please do not display. This is my habit. But this is the plate after me. So this is just an example from my personal life. So this is just changing the attitude. Okay. Clear? So ASTM principle is clear. Okay. Can I proceed further? Thank you. So I will convey your message to my son. He will be happy. But normally he don't allow me that please do not share. So he never share these images. So I just sharing for the first time because he said that no, I should not share this. Okay. Okay. Thank you. So now let's post. Okay. So there is one quote. So I purposely made my screen blank. I purposely made my screen blank. So I told you that 3D is are our enemies. You can initiate kaizens against 3Ds. You can initiate kaizens by using 3R principle, reduce, reuse cycle. You can implement the kaizens by following the sequence of EBFC, easier, better, faster, cheaper, easier, better, faster, cheaper. Or you can use ASTM principle, attitude, safety, time reduction, energy, and money. Okay. So again, there is one of the favorite quote of Masaki Imai-san, and I normally share this quote while starting any project, any training. So from where you should start? So people are asking me, from where should you start? So I normally say them, the starting point of improvement is to recognize the need. It is a very beautiful quote. The starting point of the improvement is to recognize the need. What is your need as an organization? You are struggling with accidents. please start implementing guidance related to safety. If you are struggling for the on-time delivery, suppose lots of customer complaints, please focus on the quality. Sir, our quality is good, there is no incident at all, but we are struggling that our deliveries are not on time. Please focus on delivery on time. So, for example, my left knee is paining and I want to improve my health. I want to become fitness freak. But now starting point should be I should work on my left knee because that my left knee is paining. My right shoulder is paining. So I should focus on that. So that is also beautiful quote. The starting point of the improvement is to recognize the need. Understood this quote? And please use this quote wisely. Please identify your priority. Please identify the need of your organization and then initiate guidance in that direction. Okay? Understood? Okay. Okay. Now, should I cover this approach or not? Let me tell you anything. Okay. 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 So, today is our 3D, 3R, 3G. Okay. So, we will discuss 3G approach uh, and then we will have a recap. Okay. So, if you are facing any problem, if you are facing any problem, so Japanese are saying that 3G are the Japanese words starting from the letter G. Starting from the letter G. So what does it mean? So first G means Gemba. So you can either write GEMBA or GENBA, both are correct because some are writing at GENBA, some are writing at GEMBA, but pronunciation is M, Gemba, Gemba. So first G is called as Gemba. So Gemba means real place, real workplace where we are making our product. So when suppose there is one job and you are observing that there is a crack, defect is crack. So suppose we are making water bottles and that water bottles are cracking. Okay. So when suppose problem came that water bottles are cracking and suppose quality engineer came to me, I am a operation head or quality head and he's saying me that, sir, this crack problem is increased. Earlier rejection was 0.5%, now it is 10%, but this is a very serious problem. So my first approach should be, I should go to the Gemba. Gemba means real workplace, shop floor in manufacturing, where we are producing our products or where this problem is happened. For example, this is an injection molding shop and in that injection molding, water bottles are cracking. So first G is stands for Japanese always say, go to the Gemba, go to the Gemba. When there are earthquakes are happening in Japan and when is reporter is reporting from that location where that earthquake is happened. So normally he's saying that reporting from Gemba. And Masaki Maiki-san was saying that if you meet one of the Japanese who is working in industry, is a great Japanese, and you have a conversation of 10 minutes with him, then in 10 minutes, he will definitely use two words, most of the Japanese. One word is called as Gemba and another word is called as Kaizen. And hence, Masaki Imai-san wrote a good book and that book name is called as Gemba Kaizen. That's called as Gemba Kaizen. I will put in chat box. That is a very good book, Gemba Kaizen. Okay. So you can read this book, Gemba Kaizen. Gemba Walk, yes, different, but the book is Gemba Kaizen. Yes, Gemba Walk, you can say Ronak. But Japanese always saying that go to the Gemba. So Gemba Walk can be a regular also at 9 a.m. But suppose if any problem happens, then you should go to the Gemba. Even though if you have completed Gemba Walk. So first G stands for Gemba. Go to the place where the problem is happened. Okay. Now, second G stands for Gembetsu. Second G stands for Gembetsu. What is Gembetsu? Gembetsu means real object or physical object. Now suppose this is pen or this is water bottle and there is a crack on water bottle. So I should go to the Gamba. So I went to the injection molding shop. I just hold this, I'm holding this bottle in my hand. I'm just observing the crack. How big is the crack? Where is the location? So I'm observing with my eyes. I am checking with my eyes as well as by taking these jobs in my hand. So I'm using my hand, I'm using my eyes, and I'm checking where that crack is happened. Where is the location? I'm examining the physical object. I'm examining that part. And suppose there is a problem to the machine and examining the machine. Suppose there is a problem to the gripper. I'm examining the condition of gripper. So that gripper, I'm examining the condition. I'm examining that water bottle where there's a crack. How big is the crack? Where is the location? So that G is called as gambits. So Japanese always saying that go to the gemba, check the gembetsu or examine the gembetsu. And third G stands for genjitsu. Genjitsu means fact. Genjitsu means fact. Fact means please check the facts with your own eyes. Somebody is saying that and you are using your ears. You are just listening from another point of view. No, you should go to the Gemba and you should validate the facts with your own eyes. For example, one of the problem we face that molten metal temperature is high and one person is saying that no, there is some pokayoke, it will not increase. But when we go to the Gemba and we observe the reality, that pokayoke is not working. It found that that pokayoke is itself not working. So we check the facts with our own eyes. Somebody is saying that there is a pokayoke, it will not happen. But when we check the facts with our own eyes, we found that that pokayoke is not working. So that is called as 3J approach. So that is a very, very powerful approach. Whenever you face any problem, any defect, for example, crack, first go to the Gemba, the real workplace where that problem is occurred. Second, search for a Gembetsu. Take that part in your hand. And if machine is big, you cannot take the machine in your hand, then examine the part of that machine. So examine the part of the machine, examine the water bottle, which is cracked. And third G called as Genjitsu. Check the facts. Do not focus on opinions. Sir, metal temperature will not rise. There is a pocket. Sir, this will not happen. So these are the opinions. Do not focus on opinions, focus on facts. Means in Hindi, we are saying that aankho dekha hal. Go there, check the facts with your own eyes. That is called as genjitsu. That is called as genjitsu. And in normally in Toyota, they use one word. The word is called as genchi gembetsu. Means go and see, go and examine. Genchi means go and Genjutsu means see, examine. So Toyota's one of the principle is Genchi Gembetsu. Go and see. Do not talk here. Go and check on Gemba. So they also say that no opinions from the office. Forget about this line. Huh? Management begins at no opinions from office. Observe what is actually happening on shop floor. Collect actual facts. Collect actual facts. So this is one of the hint. Please use 3J approach. Whenever you see any problem, go to the Gemba, examine the machine, examine the physical object with your own eyes, write down what you observed, and then check the facts. Check the process parameters. It is saying that metal temperature is not high, but yes, metal temperature is higher than the specification. He is saying that sensor is working, but no, sensor is not working. I identified this with your my own eyes. That is called as Genjitsu. So Gemba, Gembetsu, Genjitsu. 3G is clear. Go to the Gemba where the problem is happened. Examine the machine, examine the physical objects, and check the facts with your own eyes. No opinions from office. Avoid sitting in conferences room and discussing. Please go to the Gemba. Observe what is actually happening there. Collect actual data. Always take decision based on facts. It is said that always take decision based on facts. Do not take decision based on assumptions. Do not take decision based on opinions. Take the decision based on facts. Collect the actual data. Got it? So 3G is clear. Gemba, Genbetsu, Genjutsu. Pronunciation is M. You can write Gemba, but pronunciation is M. So, yes, actually, I want to cover this concept tomorrow, but we covered. So, just we will have a recap. So, what we learned today, can anyone tell me in 2 or 3 minutes what we discussed today? We started with what? And how was the today's session? Please write your feedbacks as well. Thank you. Yes, we started with the quotes. Then we started with the 3D, history of Japan, transformation of Japan. Okay. Then, yes, quotes on Kaizen. Very good. Quotes on Kaizen. Then, how to identify Kaizen? I told you that you can use 3D approach. Huh? Game, danger, difficult, danger, dirty. EBFC is the correct sequence of implementing Kaizen, easier, better, faster, cheaper. 3R approach, reduce, reuse, recycle, or how you are as well. Then we saw that ASTEM, change on attitude, safety, time reduction, energy, and then money. And last, we concluded the session with 3G approach, 3G methodology. Okay. Yes, we will discuss tomorrow that abnormal fixing is Kaizen or not. We will discuss tomorrow. Okay. So 3G is clear. Just type yes. I am asking question. Is 3G clear? Okay. 3D clear. 3D difficult, danger, dirty clear. 3R clear. Reduce, reuse, recycle. Very good. ASTM clear. And quotes on Kaizen are clear. Okay. Transformation of Japan is clear. How they yes. The limitation of Japan is clear and how they transform themselves. And one of the tool they used for transformation is Kaizen, which you are learning today. Okay. So thank you. Thank you for giving me an opportunity. I tried to explain in simple words. Please type your comments. Any feedback? How was your today's session? Thank you, Ankit ji. Thank you. Thank you, Balakrishnan. Thank you, Kalpesh. Thank you, Jarin. Thank you, Mohammed. Thank you. Thank you, Vibhuti. Yes. Thank you, simple language. Yes. Yes, I will share the PPT. Thank you, Daljit ji. Thank you, Dina ji. Thank you, Mani. Yes, yes, Yogesh ji, I will share. Normally, I share the this copy on the last day because we will just discuss and then you can refer that. Thank you. Thank you, Soumya. Soumya, yesterday you wanted that agenda, na? Program outline, I will share. Thank you. Thank you. No, thank you, Tech. No, I don't know KJ5. Thank you, Vikas. Yes, Said, we discussed that CLETA. Normally, it is a concept in TPM. Thank you. Thank you. So I will stop sharing.